So, hello everyone, it's time for the final episode of When They Cry. And are they gonna cry? Are they gonna be best friends maybe? Are they gonna redeem themselves? Is Hanyu gonna win? I think Hanyu's gonna win, right? But I think that they're both gonna lose, right? And by that, they're gonna win right there. I think neither of them is gonna be able to actually kill the other one. They're not gonna be able to actually kill their lover, best friend, girlfriend kind of thing, right? And it's gonna end with them like somehow forgiving each other to some extent. But they both need to do that. Rika for Satoko to her, but also Satoko has to forgive her, you know, forcing her to go to school and so on. And then somehow that's the miracle that they are actual friends again or something, and then Hanyu can win, right? So something like that. But I was again here. Last episode, of course, was very interesting. As I said, I always been in camp, and I think most people are, that BUT Satoko is wrong, right? She's the one that could have asked for help at the school and so on. She's the one that could have said, Rika, I don't want to go to school. Do what you want, you know, and so on, yeah. But that being said, Rika wasn't like perfectly innocent. I never said that, right? I go back to my reviews and so on earlier here, the first season. Rika is still kind of like, oh, are you okay, Satoko? Satoko is like, yeah, I'm okay. And she's like, okay, whatever, see you, I got friends now, yeah, you know, F you, yeah. Like, Rika clearly kind of, you know, threw her away, right, basically. And then kind of like, shut up and, you know, get in, yeah, do what I want kind of thing, right? So, Rika wasn't perfect, but it was more Satoko's fault. But last week, I said before we watched the episode here, I think it was really interesting in my last review, because Rika was way more at fault in that version. I don't know if you can really say it's true, because it's kind of like a mixture of what Rika actually did versus what she maybe is doing right now when he's time traveling at Satoko torture her kind of thing. Maybe not. It's a little unclear if she had the same motivation, you know, before the time loop or not, right? I would argue for. But if you go, that is still more true to Rika. Last episode really made Rika look way more mean, because she's like, oh well, Satoko, I want to go to school. You can shut up and be my waifu. Just be in your lane, you know, get back in the kitchen, woman. Kind of like that, right? Yeah, she's like, shut up, you're my plus one waifu on the side. Yeah, you shut up, yeah. She kind of had an action to her, right? And so I still think it needs Rika also to be like, maybe I don't have to force you to be my girlfriend at the school or something. Because Rika definitely come off way more forceful than she did then in the, I think, season 1, right? But as I said last week, I said it again, you could also argue that her more forceful manner is after Satoko has, you know, killed her like 50 times. But I would say it's not really clear. I would say it's like, yes, maybe. But also you could argue last episode shows Rika's true colors, right? Like, it's my dream, we're gonna do my dream first, right? Yeah. Kind of like that. But as I said several times, I'm hoping the episode here then, that we're gonna have an epilogue, right? What's happening after and they stop killing each other. My theory is that we're gonna end with them, you know, still being like best friends or whatever, right? After school, but Rika goes to her school, and Satoko do something else, woman, right? They can still be best friends on the breaks or something, right? That's what I expect. That's the logical conclusion. Like, you don't have to live together for all these years. You can actually go like separate ways and then be lovers in the end, right? You can get together and get babies after they go to school or something. You don't have to like go to school together. Like, I feel like why they're both hellbent on the other one doing their dream, right? Yeah, like if they can finally give it up and say they're sorry to each other, that's a miracle, right? But they're both so stubborn, so they refuse to do it. Anyway, let's finally watch the final episode then. So, 3, 2, 1, and go! Man, I'm excited to see what happens there. But certainly, they have to somehow come to terms with with each other. So Hanyu can win, right? Yeah, it's like a miracle. So here we go. So Hanyu is getting owned by Eva, and Hanyu clearly can't defeat her. She's way weaker. She's like, you're a fragment of my powers. But I wanted the same person though. Yeah, they're like, I used to be like you, but I'm not. But are we the same people? It is a little weird, yeah. Are they the same person, or I mean, you can imagine she could be like a younger version of her or an older version of her, a time traveling thing, parallel universe. And they keep arguing. Oh, beautiful Hushat voice though. Heard yesterday in the tennis course. Paula. Yeah, so I mean, Yeah. Miracles are good to make them happen. Oh, I mean, she's getting owned a lot, man. She's really weak compared to her. She just keeps owning her, yeah. She's like, yeah, whatever. Medical staff. She's one of those monk priest staff, right? I can't recall that, but yeah, it's one of these monk staffs. Which I can't remember the name of, but yeah. But she's clearly way stronger than Hanji, but when the other girls are gonna have the miracle, right? Obviously Hanji will win though, so... Yeah, I mean, Hanji is gonna win this thing. I mean, come on. Those girls are gonna somehow have a... You know, some kind of... agreeable thing. You know, she drops like furniture on her. I don't know, that felt like less worse. Like, less was worse, I mean, when she kind of touched her. Yeah, dropping some furniture on her, that felt like less of a thing than when she was like, you know, strangling her with the like magical circle thing, right? But anyway, the miracle is definitely Rika can't kill her. Yeah, Rika can't do it because she loves her. She's in love with her. Yeah, she can't do it. She's like, I still love you, Satoko. Little best friend, girlfriend thing. Yeah, obviously she can't do it, right? This is gonna be, as I've been saying for a few weeks here, there's no way that she can actually finish her. Yeah. Yeah, you know I made you happy! See? She's so obsessed with this thing. I love you the most! No one can ever love you as I do! Marry me, Rika, and only me. Yeah, here we go. I already know you love me! Yeah, so I understand why you killed me 50 times, because I love you more than anyone else, yeah! I care about you the most, yeah! This is like the deepest love story ever. How the hell would I not know you love me the most? Yeah, every time you killed me, I knew you loved me deep down. This is like the kind of worst Stockholm syndrome ever. Man, it's kind of brutal now when she's beating up her. Really good, well done with the wet clothes, yeah, punching her in the rain here. Yeah. But again, you know, Satoko could have, you know, finished school 50 times over using her time travel powers. Oh, should we go back to... It's like, I want to study! I spent 1,000 years in a time loop. Instead of you studying, I was like, what a time loop do you? Yeah, they're so obsessed with each other. The great love story and mystery. So they're both incredibly selfish, right? They're like both the most selfish lovers ever. I just find it kind of hilarious how they're so similar. They're so similar. They're both the most stubborn, selfish bastards ever. They're both like, I am the one that I love you the most. I love you more than me. They're gonna keep doing it forever. A few more 1,000 time loops. You can finally maybe get a terms with the love. But honestly, yeah, dropping a furniture on her, that didn't really feel like a massive finisher. She was like, last episode, she was like strangling her. Yeah, of course, that's a shredder team. It comes up from the... Really doesn't feel like that would finish her. Compared to the other thing. Okay, so Hanji comes up here, her eyes are shining, so I guess she's turning into her, I don't know, serious mode. Maybe they're gonna do Dragon Ball again here. They're gonna fly around in the sky and shoot Kamehasas for her. They might do like, last episode, right, we had a Kamehameha battle. It feels like she's gonna do the same thing now too. Yeah, you're gonna have another Dragon Ball fight here. I hope actually don't, because this... I mean, there is like a fight here to be had, but I think we all are more interested in Rika Satoko. This to me isn't that interesting. Like, this is like whatever. Yeah. I mean, I was the Hanji win and let's get over it. You know, I want to spend like... I don't want to spend 10 minutes in this fight. Yeah, I don't know. She's getting a sword, I guess. Because the sword fell in the water, right? She's getting the sword probably. That's the sword, exactly, yeah. That was obvious. Man, I knew it. Det var kind of obvious. A sword. I guess she's much stronger now than she has her sword, of course. Yeah, they're doing it again. If we need another Super Saiyan fight, we need another energy fight where they shoot laser beams at each other in space, in the divine black space thingy. I guess this, like, is she destroying different timelines or something? It feels like she's like destroying the timelines now, or like the different, you know, versions, what if stories, yeah, maybe. But yeah, she's laughing at her. Oh, she broke her staff though. Yeah. Wait. That sound. Whatever. Broke her horn! Not so cute horn! That's probably important there that her horn broke. Oh, she disappears. And this is a real form or something? She's also a Shibi, I guess, because they're both like, it's a real form, you have to be shorter than her. Did they both Shibis ever know that Shibi or something? I guess, yeah, what? Yeah, aha! No, I'm also pissed off! This is my real form! Yeah, oh yeah, now she's serious, yeah, like she turned tiny, now turned into a Shibi god form, now she's dead serious, she's like, now I wanna really fight you, yeah, when I'm shinier. I don't know, that wasn't too long, yeah. They keep struggling with the friendship. Best love friendship ever. Why can't they just, I said that episode, why can't they just agree they can do different stuff? When are they finally gonna realize it's possible to be in love with each other without having the same occupation or whatever? You know, like, you don't need to live together all the time, you don't need to be with each other like this, right? Goddamn weirdos, the hentai of them. See, Rika is really a bad guy now, Rika's really... but Rika is really turned into like the... I love this, yeah. I love the kind of art style here. But Rika has really turned into like equally bad now. He's like, shut up! He says last week, shut up, woman, be it. You're gonna be my waifu. I don't care. You're gonna be with me. Yeah, I really don't care. You're gonna do my dream, not your dream. So yeah, Rika is really going mean here. It's hard to... They're both kind of dislikable in that sense though. Again, I really hope they end it with them actually agreeing that they can actually be separate. And you know, and they can make love after school or something. Now they went bigger again though, so now they're almost adults again, right? Yeah. Now they're changing to their grown-up or older teenager forms. When they're finishing school, yeah. Yeah. Count of the years. It's like, I don't know how many times we've done this by now. It's like, we've done a lot of times by now, yeah. Yeah, we're pretty old, you and me. I found this actually, I'm too stupid to study though. I will never study hard, Rika. Like, you spent like 1,000 years in a timeline. You could have studied, you could have been the smartest person on the planet, or knowledgeable, yeah. So you could have studied, of course, for ages. In infinite time to study. Like, I will never study! It's more important for her to, I guess, you know, be right, I guess, and study, yeah. It's really absurd in that sense. In that sense, it's really silly that you could have easily studied by now in the timelines. And of course, easily do it. Yeah. Why can't you just spend this time at schoolwork, girl? Stop using your time powers to skip in school. But now they might finally go the separate ways, right? And still be lovers after school, of course. Yeah, they're finally gonna, you know, be like, okay, let's not do, let's... Okay, when is this timeline though? Because Obviously they kind of jumped into after school now at Lucia. Yeah, and you know, older Kichi and so on. Yeah, so when is this timeline happening though? Like what timeline are they in? Are they in the same? I feel they're in the same timeline where they kind of started. You know how they ended last season. You know before they jumped into the car and so on. Weak guy is so weak. I can punch it for days. Be sure I make you cry though. Yeah, like. But I guess this is the timeline we kind of when we started. I suppose, right? Like after they finished school, then you know. No one is surprised by like really massive. All the clothes are. Ha! Man! Yeah! I never tell you, it's your fault! There has to be probably the same kind of the OG timeline of, you know, after Lucia. Yeah, I'm an old lady that can tell stuff. Aren't we friends? Nakama! I'm sure they already agreed on to not disagree, yeah, come on. The reason they're fighting is pretty important. For these two characters, the reason they're fighting, pretty important. You're not just doing a fight here. Our friendship is finally ended! Yes, right! It's like, are they finally not friends anymore after she killed you like 50 times? We finally stopped trying to be friends. You only killed me a few thousand times now. I'm not a free friend anymore. Very patient friend, Rika. Very patient. Yeah. In the end, it's like maybe you can be friends without always. Exactly. Even twins are not always together. She's like me one, she one. We aren't always in the same room together. Even if you're twins, you don't have to be in the same room constantly. Are they gonna finally teach you what friendship is? It's just kind of silly. Yeah, I love that Kichi is like, you know, friendship, you don't have to all be together. You can be friends and like go different separate ways and meet up again after the next day. That's what friendship means. So if he had told him this like 50 times ago, would they never fight? If they understood his point of friendship? I feel so much told this before. Now they're probably gonna hold hands here, right? Yeah, look at this, they're gonna hold hands here. Gonna be lovers in the end, of course. Of course they are. The Yuri, here we go. Yuri ending. Yuri route. It is really silly though. After fighting for like a few weeks to get something, and you know, constantly killing each other, now they're like, yeah, we're best friends again. I'm in love with you. Yeah, I love you. Love you, girl. Yeah, it's all forgiven. Oh my god. But okay, let's hopefully they do a timeline here where they go back in time and go separate ways then after you know, Rika gets supposed to go to school. So I expect, right? So I keep saying. A timeline where no one dies. This might be that one, maybe. Actually, I hope she fixes everything else right. You know, Rena, stepmom, you know, the sisters, and you know, the Kishi's dating life and everything. Hopefully these two crazy people make everyone's life better too, right? Hopefully they're like combining, and obviously Uncle Teppe being nice again. Maybe they can combine the different time changes and, you know, make like a good life for everyone. Uncle Teppe being nice again, and you know, stepmom being nice and all this stuff. Yeah, maybe they can like combine that now here to like so she's clearly of course back in school clothes, Lucia. And I guess Satoko then won't be joining her, right? Yeah. Yeah, see you at the school, yeah. See you, you know, next week or something. Probably. Yeah, where's Satoko? Where's her waifu? Yeah, the classic bags they had. Yeah. Yeah, it was already here, right? You know. Take it with her, okay. What's this now? A barbershop though with the barber thing there, but yeah, I don't know, it's like Tokyo Metro or something? What is happening? Yeah, bullet train, Shinkansen. Here we go. So it's only Rika-chan going, right? And Satoko is doing something else, of course. Yes, yes, that's right. Yeah, oh kawaii. Yeah, so kawaii. Yeah, and of course Rika is all happy. Go to school. This is her waifu. She's like, yeah, so, yeah, you leave me. Yeah, okay. They're gonna do what I said right last week, right, or earlier too. They're gonna do what I predicted, right? Definitely, right. She's gonna go to school. Satoko is gonna do whatever she wanna do, right? And then on the weekends they're gonna make love or something. Yeah, you know, they're gonna be best lover friends after school, right? Yeah, come on. They're finally gonna go the separate ways. Yeah, they're finally gonna go the separate ways here. And they can finally accept that. Well, 3 years, but she has come back during the breaks, right? Ah, here we go. No, Sean, but yeah. No, stop, guy. I have the message from my sister. Yeah, don't do this. Come on, that's gonna mean nicely. Yeah, so they're finally gonna be like, let's have separate love stories. Yeah, I recall you telling me I make friends there. Yeah, like, here we go. They're gonna play out the timeline where they are they're not together all the time. Yeah. They're finally gonna go. This felt like they did like 1,000 time loops to finally accept that we don't have to live together always. Yeah, we can't separate for a few moments. We were on a break. We can have a break for 3 years. Holy shit, man! These people are insane. Yeah, don't get tired of me, woman. In this timeline, we're not doing it together. Exactly. Now we come and smash your anime, girl. You can't come away from me. Man, yeah, this is some Yandere ending. I will love you! I will find you no matter where you go. Yeah, if you go east, I go... Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, if you go this way, I will go that way. Here we go. Yeah, it's like the opening here. There we go. Yeah. When you cry, I will be there for you. This is some seriously sick Yandere thing. This is the both Yanderes. Yeah, the only thing again is that they're both the Unigasai. They're double Yandere. Right? It's 2 Yandere girls in love with each other. That's actually what it is, to think about it. They're both seek love, yeah. They're both psychopaths, they're in love with each other. That's the issue, really. And they're both like, I will find you no matter where you go. If you go east, I go west, yeah. I go this way, yeah, I'll find you, yeah. Like yeah. That was insane. But of course, it's what I've been saying for months, right? Probably even last year, right? Or I mean last year, last season, man. This is what you expect as an ending, right? They will go their separate ways. Then of course they will still gonna hang out on... Yeah, and everyone is probably fine this time. This is the perfect time, right? So obviously Grandma's alive. Mom didn't kill them with a sword, right? He's also going crazy. Yeah, I mean this is a timeline where everyone is happy, right? So maybe Teppei is nice now then? Poor Teppei? I guess so. Maybe, you know, stepmom is nice, yeah. I hope that everyone is, yeah, of course, Sensei. And... Yeah, those guys who are, you know, don't have much screen time as the mayor as well. Yeah, this feels like the perfect ending here now for this season, right? And of course his parents as well. See, no stepmom is fine, right? She could be a nice, yeah. No stepmom probably isn't. She's probably a nice person now. You know, best guy or stepmommy. She's probably nice now, of course, in this world. I mean, it makes sense to. They would like, you know, fix that, right? Because I mean, they both kept trying to make the world better, right? And the other cat kept remembering the bad stuff, right? In the kind of dreams, right? So Teppei is probably nice in this ending. I would expect. Yeah, and of course she is back too, without being. Yeah. Of course she's also back, of course. Without being crazy. Without being some kind of psychopathic murder as well, right? And Nini and so on. The perfect ending for this season. Yeah, Nini wakes up there. So I guess you can spend time with her Nini then. Yeah, he wakes up here, so I guess you can spend time with Nini. That could be a nice ending for her. But she's not with school, have I go? Satoko can instead, you know, be with Nini, right, for his 3 years. Yeah, the perfect ending here. Almost too perfect. So he's gonna meet Nini now, right? Exactly. He's gonna be like, Nini, Teppe is of course happy again. See? Yes! Of course Uncle Teppe is the best now. Exactly. He's like, oh, best of me, girl! Of course Uncle Teppe is... Oh, Teppe! Oh, what's that? Yeah. Of course Uncle Teppe is best uncle now. Yeah. Of course, see? They're getting like the best version of everyone this ending. Like, why wouldn't they not, set everyone in the best angle, right? Nah, Nini loves you too! Yes. Oh, no, 50%! I also wanna be there, yeah! You better invite me to. He's like, I love you, girl! Yeah, no, they're like best friends, all of them! And she's like, yeah, it's kinda weird, everyone is best friends now. Yeah, this time I still love you. Yeah. Satoko was like, this is kinda awkward now. Okay. When are you best friends now? How did this happen? Yeah, how are you friends? But I keep saying it, right? Because they have done this time traveling so many times, it makes perfect sense that they were both like adjust this timeline to have, of course, everyone being perfect, right? Like Teppe and and Rena and so on. Yeah, having doesn't work, I guess. She's like, yeah, time snapping. This is boring. It's too nice to me. I was like, oh, I thought I'm stuck here. Damn it! My powers are gone. Stupid. God, this shit. Yeah, I was like, oh no, I'm stuck in this timeline. Oh, god damn it. I guess she's kind of bored with Uncle Teppe being too nice to her. This is too easy for me. It's easy mode timeline. No. Yeah, I can't leave it this time now. He's too nice to me. It really is the perfect true happy ending here. Yeah, call my sister and so on too, right? Gotta bring the whole family over there. There they are. The other three. Where's Nini though? He woke up in the hospital. Can I expect Nini to come here too, right? And also be with in the party here. Definitely not that much of Rika in this ending. Not much more Satoko. But I guess we know what Rika's doing. She's spending time with her new girlfriends at the school, Netto Rari Satoko or something. Yeah, I guess she's like, sleeping around. Yeah, I guess. It is true, it's not that important seeing Rika's part because we kind of already know what Rika's doing. We can already know what is happening there with her side of the story now. This is more like what's happening in Satoko. But yeah, that's it. Horrible ending, worst ending I've heard. I'm just kidding, but it's the opposite, right? It truly is like the happy ending of happy endings. So yeah, let's review it. Last review that I'm never watching anime again now. Okay, but otherwise today I am playing. I'm playing Yakuza Enter the Dragon, which I like a dragon, which I finally started playing actually. But yeah, there's a truck outside. Yeah, you probably hear that on the mic there, sorry about that. I'm trying to find a Teppe. Here we go, yeah, I'm trying to find these things. Yeah, Uncle Teppe is fine, he's back! He's almost Uncle Yell level, right? He's almost as good as Uncle Yell. So yeah, let's review it. When They Cry is over, it did definitely ended as I expected, so obviously I'm a genius, give me some likes for that, I'll share the video now, but it is, without a doubt, I would say, the most obvious ending was just this ending, right? That they would go separate ways. Obviously, I kept saying it before I watched the episode, I kept saying it last review for that. I've been saying this for, I don't know, months, that, yeah, the most obvious solution is that they don't have to always be together. Like, Satoko can still live at the village, the shield ones, right, with Teppe and so on, and Rika can go to the school, right? And Satoko can have her happy family kind of life here. Nini obviously wakes up too, right? Satoko can spend time with him, with Uncle and so on, because he's nice now, right? She can live that family life she wants, right? And during this time, Rika's going to that horrible girls' school she loves for whatever reason. More on that later. But anyway, she goes to that school, right? And of course, as I keep saying for many reviews now, right? You can now end with them. Even if they say, oh, I will like 3 years or whatever. Don't they have like, don't they have breaks? I think next week it's like, I I don't know what it's called. In Sweden, it's called like a höstsemester or whatever. There's not really a name for it in Sweden. I don't know what it's called in other languages either. Because I mean, obviously spring break is the same in Sweden, right? Or whatever. You have like, you know, the break on spring. But in many countries, at least in Sweden, I think this week or next week. I mean, I haven't gone to school anyway, and I haven't been in Sweden, so I don't know. But I think roughly now it's like I don't know, fall break or something. There's a good name for it. We just call it like fall break because the other breaks, that's where I'm from. Where I'm from, you have like 3 breaks a year, plus winter and of course a summer break. So the breaks you have are this fall break, and then you have the other breaks. But the other breaks are specifically like, you know, like, oh, this is like Eastern break, you know, it's a religious kind of thing, and that's why it's a break, right? But the break now that for 1 week, the school break that we have, I think it is in Sweden this week, or maybe next week, I don't know, something like that, in Europe generally. That is a random break, right? Anyway, my point of course is that, for example, then this week or next week or whatever is fall break, so that Rika can go and, you know, smash Rika, right? So it doesn't feel really like they have to be separate for 3 years in total. They can still, you know, hang out on the summer, fall, winter break, and like, yeah, and so on, right? That's what I expect. Right? Of course, all Japanese school, you know, Japan has 3 semesters in different system, and I don't know exactly. But I guess you could argue, and I'm sure someone's gonna leave a comment in the comments or whatever to say, telling me that, well, at St. Lucia they don't have any breaks. It's like a prison school, and you go to that school and you can't leave for 3 years. Even though we saw it in the one that she did go back. So, but sure, I can buy it to some extent that this really bad girl, I mean, the school wasn't even in the episode, yeah. But yeah, that is really, how to call it, like, you know, all girls school that is really evil, right? Yeah, like that school doesn't have like any breaks whatsoever. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I can buy that maybe they don't have spring break, maybe they don't have fall break, but they might have, you know, like Golden Week, right, in Japan or something, or they might have like at least summer break and winter break. So I don't buy that. I expect, you know, that you can hang out and smoosh on each other in between, right? But anyway, Satoko finally gets what she wants in that sense. She gets that Uncle Teppei, Nini's upright. I'm surprised we didn't see that, honestly. Yeah, I'm surprised how it ended with Nini. It's not like a big deal, but I just mean that he didn't meet Satoko. Like, yeah, like he wakes up in the hospital, and, you know, he doesn't. I thought that after Teppei was there, and Teppei is like, hey, Satoko, I got some food, you know, woo, you know. I expected Nini to appear, right? And Nini also being like, hey guys, I'm back, you know, and also be happy that Uncle Teppei is nice now, yeah. But we didn't get to see that, so that's a little bummer. I hope they're gonna meet up after that. But not like a big deal. I'm just like, they could be slightly better, I would argue for. But otherwise, though, the more you watch the episode, the more they're fighting and so on. But it really is like a double Yandere, yeah. It really is. They're so in love with each other. And this last scene, when they separated finally after all these like 1,000 timelines, it's really sick. It's really hentai, no? But come on, they're both Yanderes. They're so Yandere. It's like, if you go east, I go east. Well, if you follow me, I follow you. Yeah, they're both like, I love you more than no one can ever love you, and I love you, and I know you love me the most. I mean, they're both so insanely in love with each other, and they really are. I mean, people are like, oh, they don't like you in love. Yeah, come on, they are. These two are smashing, okay? They're living together. They're touching each other. These two are clear lesbians. I ship them. No, but come on. This here is the opening. The basic kiss. They got this in the opening, right? And almost kiss in the opening. But this here is just full on Yandere. The different story, of course, as I mentioned during the reaction, is that they're both Yandere, right? Yeah. In most animes, you have someone like that. But Yunugasai, spoiler, is a Yandere. The most famous Yandere, of course. And you have all the Yanderes, right, in all the animes. You have, for example, Toga-san in My Hero Academia, right, whatever. A lot of Yanderes, of course. Yandere means sick love, and it's usually the female character, can be a male character, of course, but mostly female characters, that is, you know, obsessively sickly in love, right, with the character. Usually then the main character, right, is usually in love with. But in this anime, they're both, especially this episode, last episode, I mean, obviously, they're both Yandere for each other. And that's what they're getting into this fight, right? Because they are, they're insane. They're both like, well, you can never escape me, Rika. Oh, you can never escape me. Yeah, they're both like, oh, if you ever try to escape me, I'm coming after you, and I'm gonna freaking argue. Basically, oh, well, I'm gonna do the first, yeah. They're kind of like, if you ever sleep with another woman, I will kill you and then sleep with you instead or something. They're basically like, if you touch another person, I'm gonna come and kill them and then take your life and, and force you to be my girlfriend. And they're like, oh yeah, I expect you to do, And it's like, oh, not if I kill you first, kind of like that, right? It's kind of weird. I mean, honestly, it is a really sick scene. Well, I love it though, but it's a really sick scene because are they both promising each other that, oh, I'm gonna R you, and then the other one is like, oh, not if I R you first. Oh, you're gonna stalk me? Oh, I'm gonna stalk you even more. It's like, okay, you're both insane. Yeah, you're both sick. Yeah, okay, I get it. You're both madly in love with each other. That's whenever you are, wherever you cry, I'm gonna follow you and I'm gonna be with you, and it's like you can never escape me. If you try to escape me, I'm gonna change the timeline again. And they're both, saying that if you try to escape me, right? If you try to like avoid me, I'm gonna change the timeline so you can't escape me. And then like, well, I'll do something for you. Yeah, so they're both basically promising each other that if you ever leave me, if you ever try to go away from me in life, then I'm gonna force you to be my girlfriend anyway. Yeah, this is here. They're basically both saying that if you try to, change the timeline so we are not lovers, I will force you to be my lover. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna force you to be my girlfriend. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, see you. Yeah, it's like they're really, really sick in that sense. But that's what it's about. I think that's the best way to break it down. That they're both really, really extreme yanderes with magical powers, forcing the other one to love them. And they finally then, as I've been saying, right, they finally, of course, agreed on that. Okay, we are gonna be lovers, but we're gonna go separate sides for these 3 years. But then you have to come back to me after that. Okay, fine, yeah. They kind of both agreed. Okay, we're gonna do the separate storyline, and we're gonna meet up on the side, right? we're gonna, and we can meet up after school, kind of thing. But this is kind of weird thing. But otherwise, as I hoped for, and it makes perfect sense. I think it makes really perfect sense. Instead, of course, in this timeline now, they have fixed all the other issues, right? Yeah, they made, stepmom, she's nice now, and so on. Yeah, they have. Because why wouldn't they fix this, right? I mean, obviously these two girls have even retained their powers, and they have kept doing the timelines, right? And of course, as we see it in the different animes here, the characters are mostly nicer, right? Teppe is nice and so on. Stepmom is nicer, etc. Right? So why wouldn't they just align everything? So like, okay, let's make no one die. Let's make Nini be fine. Let's make the stepmom be nice, right? She can be a stepmom to her. This would be great. Let me tap it nice. So yeah, so they kind of align everything here, as I expected earlier. As I talked about in the episode 1 or 2 review. I said it too. Then we knew Satoko was evil. I said, well, I expect her to align them though, so they're like there could be one way, right, to end it, and she's gonna fix everything. So for example, then hot guy stepmom actually being a nice stepmom, right, and so on. I remember someone was like saying, oh, but why wouldn't they just I don't know, like the argument was, why wouldn't instead Satoko change the time so that Rena's parents would never separate and cheat or whatever, right, to begin with. But that doesn't make any sense, because the reason is Satoko can time travel as Rika. They can both align this thing as good as they can, but they cannot time travel further than a certain date, right? So even if they can make the stepmom here actually be like a very nice stepmom and be a good mom, right? Because she's very nice to her, trying to help her, so on, right? Trying to So even if they can make her be like an actual good stepmom to her, but they can't, for example, make the real mom be a nice mom, right? Because that happens like before they move to the village, so they can't fix that timeline. They can't go back, before the classic loop. The loop in the same distance, right? They have like a start date. You have to remember that, right? So that argument, doesn't pan out because these two girls, while they have time travel powers, they can only move back to a certain date. They can't move back to like 15 years ago, whatever. Right? They can't change it. Yeah, they can't time travel or whatever. Alter the time further back for a certain date. So they cannot fix that. That the husband lost his wife and so on in that cheating. So they can't fix that, but they can make the stepmom be nice, right? So that's kind of thing though. But this is nice though. Yeah, I like how they threw up some other art here, and she was like, "I hate you," and then but like, "I love you even more than you love me." Yeah, I love you the most, and they're both like, I know you love me the most. Don't you understand that? That's why I want you to be my wife forever. You can never leave me. But really, though, I mean, I love Yandere, and I think it's a fun ending. But it really is all centered around that they're both so madly in love with each other. But of course, the issue is that Yandere is typically a psychopathic character, right? And they're both stubborn and also, of course, egocentric. So they're both madly, sickly in love with each other, but both of them want the other one to do their perfect life, right? Like, you have to be my wife, but I have to, do good this work. I mean, basically, if you break it down right, look at it at a grander, typical life scale. It's like they're both psychopaths in love with each other, right? The Yandere in love with each other. But the issue isn't that they both don't want to be together. The issue is that the one is like, but I want to be, let's say, a doctor, right? And the other one is like, no, I want to be an engineer. And only one of the jobs can be true at the same time. You can't do both. They both have to be doctors. No, they both have to be engineers. And it's about they're fighting, actually, right? How they're going to live their life together. You have to really see that two, like the worst domestic couple ever, right? Yeah, it's like the worst love. It's like the worst love story ever in a way, right? Because they're both so insane in love with each other, and the issue is that they aren't in love, right? And they don't want to be together. The issue is that they both want to do, like another occupation. Yeah, but I want to be a farmer. No, I want to be a lawyer. And it's like the issue isn't that they don't want to be together, and they don't, respect the other one as being their like true love or whatever, right? Like the perfect couple for them. Is that they're both, he's like, this is my dream, is to be, go to this school and get this career, right? And all the like, no, I want to have this job, I want to live in the farm instead, I want to have this life. They're more fighting, is like, what are we gonna work as, right? Yeah, we're gonna live together forever, we're gonna be together forever, but what actually is our occupation? Isn't that what they're actually fighting about? If anything, yeah. Because they both agree that they're gonna be married. They both agree they're gonna live together forever, no matter what you do. Yeah, they both agree on that. Especially in the end, of course, again, right? They both are agreeing that you're gonna live with me forever. Yeah, and you're gonna live with me, and you cannot escape me. Yeah, they're basically both agreeing that, like, we are gonna be to love. We are gonna be, in love with each other, no matter what you do. And of course, then the other one is like, no, you're gonna do what I wanna do, right? So it is truly one of the sickest, but it is truly one of the sickest love stories ever. I think it's very fair to say that, like they're just so insane Yandere, yeah. It's like the insanest Yandere double love ever. The sickest love story in anime history in a way, right? Anyway, it was a fun ending. What I expected also, though. Yeah, of course. Lastly, let's talk about the guys. Well, I haven't said this to before. I forgot again. We'll talk about it in the reaction, but I love this. This scene looked really great, though. I think they looked very heavy. Where's see when she's punching as well. That was good art. I mean, it's from like an art standpoint, and of course she couldn't kill Satoko as obvious. And the sword fell into the water, and then she got it. But yeah, I think this scene felt good because I like how they made the water make it close to heavy. So on. That was nice. It looked very heavy, physically heavy. Yeah, fighting her. But anyway, the sword of course fell into the water as I expected, and that somehow goes to Hanyu as expected, right? Not really a big no there. And then she kind of cut her and turned her into like a kid. But yeah, I mean, obviously the anime isn't over in that sense. This doesn't actually conclude everything. They could easily make another season, right, with someone else being the main character, whatever. Because Hanyu hasn't won here. I mean, she's won the battle, not the war, right? This is not over with Iwa, or name is pronounced. So they haven't actually like finished off her, and they can lead, to like another battle right later on. Opening up the anime to, of course, have another season or a game, whatever, right? So yeah, like that, it's not finished. I don't know. As I said during the reaction part, this was definitely the weakest part. I didn't really care about this, right? I don't think most people did care about this thing. It didn't really matter. It's just like, oh, whatever. She fights her. It's like, yeah, whatever. Like, I wish they explained what she was to her. She kept calling her like a part of her, right? Or a fragment, or like her test. So it sounds like they are the same person, but then she shrinks to turn into another woman, so maybe they aren't. So who knows? But I'm certainly they're gonna make another season or whatever, right? Or another version or another game eventually. And that's probably gonna break down these characters more, right? Like what is the difference between them and why is she doing what she's doing and so on, right? Probably gonna come back to this thing eventually. But I don't know. I guess I would say it was the weakest part. It wasn't that interesting, really. The fight wasn't that interesting. You kind of just cut the swords, and then her staff, broke, and it wasn't like whatever. Then she just left, right? She just turned the ship and left. So it didn't really amount to anything, I felt. I mean, of course, Hanyu was gonna win because she's a good girl. But it didn't really explain anything. What I mean, it didn't explain why was she interested in torturing them. Yeah, it didn't explain why she hated Hanyu for and so on. Like, it didn't give us anything real to go on here. So just kept very open. Just kept very, very open. So I would say that was the weakest part. Not because it was terrible, but I definitely wanted them to at least give some hints to what she was. More like a more, how I'll say it. I don't think you have to explicitly explain exactly how they are together there, but they could have given a little bit she's like her clone or sister or something or whatever. You know what I mean? They could have given you a little bit more detail before she left there, but she's all like, ho 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 ho. I think she was cute though. I like she was. I like it. Her clothes, her sleeve is too long now. She's doing that. Doing that. And her sleeve kept being. Yeah, that was cute though. But I mean, that just leaves right. So yeah, I would say even though I love the girl always, the freaking best girl always. That's a great ending. But at the same time, right, I do wish this would explain a little more. Again, I'm not saying they should use here's her resume, explaining everything, her stats. But I'm hoping that's what I mean. Just give a little more flesh on, okay, what's his conflict? What is she actually to Hanyu? Hanyu? How does it actually relate? And again, not perfectly explaining every detail, but just a little bit more meat on, okay, what is happening here, right? And then she can be like, whoa, and fly away. So that I wish there was a little more on that instead of seeing them do the clash thing, because I mean, as I mentioned, the reaction, they only explained 2-3 minutes on the clash thing, so that's fine. If it was 50 minutes horrible, but they spent 2-3 minutes, that's fine. It wasn't they didn't overstay the welcome, but I would still rather have no clash, right? Use Hanyu getting free, cut to the one with the sword, and she's being like, ooh, well, Hanyu, this is my true power, and say something, and I'd rather have her a little more dialoguing. I'd rather have them explain a little bit and then leaving, than having a fight for 2 minutes and then leaving. I'd rather have more focus on the actual the story elements than have that random fight. But anyway, guys, that's When They Cry, right? Great anime. I think one of the best anime this season and this year, generally. But I will say this thing. This is a longer video, but I'll say the last word here. Shit anime. No, but I'll say this thing, right? I think for season 1 was good. But this season here, Sotsu, much better. The Satoko evil part, much more interesting. So I wouldn't say it's the best anime this year, because I feel the first season was definitely weaker than the second season. So it's not even. I think this is having much better, right? This is like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for me. Sotsu. So the other one is a little weaker. So together they are the best anime this year. I mean, but this season definitely I think one of the best just in general. And of course, I know, but I have to say it right as a general view here. Obviously, the first season should not have been called a remake. It was a sequel. When he jumped, of course, episode 15, I think was when he jumped into the whole school thing in the later years. That was very hard to, of course, follow as a new watcher for When They Cry. I was like, what is happening, right? And it was mostly thanks to people in the comment section on YouTube that kept explaining to me, this character is this character, this is her mom and so on, but there wasn't that. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would be definitely even more, lost, right, as an anime only, if people hadn't explained to me, but this character, that's the person that killed her in that timeline, and this is a reference to this thing, and her brother, it was like this, right? I was like, okay, yeah, because I was like, well, what's her brother, what's this needle thing, yeah. Especially the later episode, or the middle episode, I guess, after in the Sewande, it was very confusing, right? For an anime only. You were like, I don't understand, nothing happened. Here's the cops are breaking in the door and so on. So unfortunately, I think to be objective fair, I have to say that I really love this anime, but those episodes there, they were just bad, right? They were basically just really perplexing, confusing. And you can always say, but it's supposed to be a sequel, it's my fault, right? But I don't think it's fair. I think they really definitely presented it in the PR as a remake, so you shouldn't like expect the viewer to have seen all the animes, right? If it was called like the sequel, right? But now they kind of sneaked in it being a sequel, and yeah, and obviously I mentioned early last season then, or when it aired, but the beginning was perfectly fine as I normally, right, and then the weird thing with the cops was very, very weird with the jumping the walls and so on, and then the ending where they were kind of at school was fine too. See, it's just in the middle episode, like 15, 16, 17, it's like no episode there, they just made no sense, right, from an end only. It made like no sense, but after that we got to Lucia, the school, and then it was fine, right? You got that. But it was like that the middle part there when the episode happened, when the FBI, but the agents kind of jumped through the wall and the laboratory, and that's how I was like, what is happening? I was like, I'm lost. I'm completely. I have no idea what is happening. I think I watched the episode without subtitles. It's like in Japanese. Maybe I can blame a little bit of my translating in my head. But I don't think so. It was like, I understand what they're saying. I understand Japanese fairly enough to understand the words. It doesn't make any sense. I was like, but I remember I watched the first episode, and I was like, is this my Japanese? Because I watched it, no text, right? No subtitles. I was like, I think I translated it in my head. I was like, I'm pretty sure that I am understanding what they're saying, but like the words itself. But the storyline is just out of nowhere. So I was like, well, why is she shooting him in the forest? I was like, what's happening? You know what I mean? So I was like, okay. it was very, very confusing, and I think that unfortunately for this anime, it's a huge minus, right? Because it's kind of like it's like a fake remake sequel thing. It's obviously it's a lot better if you actually have watched the previous ones, because then you get like a remake sequel thing for you, right? But for a new watcher, definitely it's like a weird PR mistake, I would say. I don't want to spoil it too much in anything, but I mean, I just compare this thing, like FF7 remake, same thing there, basically. Yeah, without spoiling FF7 remake too much, but that game, same thing there. It's not a remake. It is a remake, but if you play the game, it's similar, right? Because it's like a remake, but it also has new stuff in Sephiroth. And it has like a new ending kind of thing. I mean, it doesn't actually play the full game, but kind of where it goes to. And it's like some kind of time traveling, and then Zack appears or whatever. That doesn't really matter. It's like one scene with Zack. But I played all the Final Fantasy games. I'm a huge JRPG collector, so I played all of them. And of course, I understand all the reference and one. But so for me, it's fine. It's like, again, I played FF7, and I played Kerberos with Vincent, and I played what was called Crusade. What's called Chrono. Not Holy Cross, but like. Oh, it's called FF7 Crusade, not Crusader. Oh, it's called Zack. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I played those games, right? I know what all the different stuff is, Sephiroth and the other guy with the wings on. I know all that stuff, right? But I would imagine if you never played FF7 and then you played this in remake, you would feel the same thing, which is like, why is this guy Zack important? Yeah, like, it wouldn't make any sense, right? Because they're throwing in characters out of nowhere that didn't appear in the original game in their scenes. But as you have played in the original game and the side games, you understand what's happening. So you're like, oh, interesting. But they're obviously changing the storyline, right, to do that. So I think that's very similar. They call it remake, but it's much more like FF7 remake / sequel. Yeah, it's the same. It's much more sequel-ish. If anything, there's a theory I had. There's not a video, but I made a video about that here. It's a very simple theory I have. Is the FF7 remake is actually, just like in this anime, it's a sequel. And I mean straight up a sequel, because it actually takes place after FF7 remake. Or, sorry, I mean the original, because it also has like time traveling, kinda. So just like here in When They Cry, I would say FF7 is very similar, because it feels like the remake is taking place actually after the original, right? But it's like a timeline, so you're replaying the original, but again different version, very similar to When They Cry. So honestly, I feel they're very similar, FF7 remake sequel thing in this anime, because here as well, right, this timeline is like a replay of the original timeline, but Satoko is altering it, so it's not the exact same replay, but it's similar, but it's just actually a sequel, because they have to go and, so that's how I feel F7 is as well. But this is my theory, of course, because they're not confirmed in F7, but that's my theory. It actually is the same rules. It's like, just like here When They Cry, it's actually taking place after Cloud and the guys, save the world, and then they rewrote history and timeline somehow. and then you know they're replaying it again, right? Just like here, that Satoko rewrites the first victory of Rika, and then you know make a new victory. You know what I mean? So very similar. I guess the last thing I would say here, I think most people have played this game because it's a very classic timeline game, right? But Chrono Trigger, of course, one of the most iconic time games. It's not the most iconic time game. If you played, you know, games, right, you probably know what I'm talking about. Chrono Trigger, also some Square Enix, Squaresoft, when you time travel and so on. That game also has a lot of this thing where it's like you beat the game, but then you kind of get into like a next timelines. Yeah, that game has that a lot too, where you can. It has like 10 different endings or more, I think, like 12, 13 different endings, and some of them is kind of like. It's kind of like, oh, I did this ending, and now I can like replay the game, you know, from the beginning and have some other alteration, you know. Yeah, it's like you're kind of doing it more than one loop, right? That kind of feeling. Where you're like, wait a minute, is it the second time? And for that matter, if you ever played Chrono Cross then, the sequel, and then you played Chrono Trigger, the DS version, which I played, they're actually throwing in Lavos, the alternate version of Lavos and Kid in that game. So it's like a time loop situation where you like you can basically fight. Basically, you can fight the last boss of Chrono Cross in Chrono Trigger, but acting is in like an intermission state. So kind of branching those timelines together in like a really weird way. Doesn't really make any sense. Honestly, it's very half-assed. I think that those timelines is very plot holy, but it's like I guess it's a way to branch them. But basically in that game, right, the time has been written so many times that it's creating like the Chrono Cross is like a time diversion, like a different dimension, an alternate, yeah, it's like 2 dimensions set of timelines. But it's also timeless. Yeah, it's both dimensional and also it's both like alternate dimension and alternate timelines. Especially if you're looking at the sequel remake thing for that game. How are we getting into this thing? I mean, there's a bunch of time stuff out there. Okay, you have like Steins Gate and you have Tokyo Revenge. There's a bunch of timeline elements in games. Yeah, you have a Sentinels. You have a bunch of that is one thing for that matter. 30 Sentinel, I played that last year, right, on YouTube, and I was like, man, this is like a time traveling game. But is it really a time traveling game where it's like alternative universe or something? That game is so weird because I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's kind of like you're traveling through like Japan, right? Like 45, 85, 25, or like 45, whatever. But that's like, is it actually a time traveling game, or is it actually like a dimensional thing? Like you're moving actually dimensions, but each dimension is different timelines. So you're not moving, you know. Because the thing is that this is a minor spoiler, but basically. Thing is that if 45 is destroyed, right, World War II, right, if World War II is destroyed, if that timeline is destroyed, wouldn't like 85 be destroyed, but it isn't. So it's actually like every timeline is separate from each other in some weird way, even if they are actually different timelines. It's very, and also the game has more timeline because it's like an internal timeline thing, and then it's like an outer timeline. There's all the characters are like reborn or something, and there's like another timeline inside of that. It's like 3 different timelines. That game is really confusing. Seriously, that game is a really well written game. I have it here. It's really again, but it's really well written from a time traveling standpoint. I have it here, and but it definitely is one of the weirdest timeline things I've ever seen in my life. Seriously, if you really love timeline games, right, and alternate dimension and so on, right, this game is really good, but it's incredibly confusing. Honestly, it's incredibly confusing. The thing is, that you also play as 30 different characters, right? 30 sentinels, and of course, every character has their own timeline and their own like version of it, and so on. But that's why this game is so good, though, because you play it, and then you play as like one character. You're like, I have to play the other character. I have to understand his perspective. Oh, okay, so Neji, he saw that shit. If I play Yuki, I might understand what she saw, right? So you play this game, it's really good because you get so into the storyline because it's such a weird storyline and it's all over the place. So you really feel like I need to watch more. I need to play the other characters, like I understand their perspective. Wait, she killed him. But she killed him in the bathroom. I need to play her and see her death scene from her perspective. You know, like oh, so that game. It also helped that the game has gender bender. People are changing gender, and some people can also body swap. So it doesn't help that some of the people are actually body swapped, and it's like cross-dresser and a gender bender, and you're like, oh my god, it's the same character. And I don't want to spoil it, but it's an incredibly weird game in that sense. But actually one of the best times I've ever seen in my life because it actually managed to make it like it doesn't have plot holes. It actually is like when you have played the full game, it actually. I don't think it makes sense because it's very contrived, but it has a plot hole. I mean, it makes sense from like a logical standpoint, But of course, many of the character actions kind of like, well, isn't that kind of contrived? Or couldn't have done this instead. That is true. Some of the actions are very unnecessary. But yeah, and Erasir, of course. Erasir, everyone knows that thing. But this game is my favorite time traveling game from like a pure time standard. Chrono Trigger is probably the first time traveling game, and the good thing with Chrono Trigger, I think, is more from the mechanical standpoint. Like you put this, what is it, the rock, Rainbow Rock, whatever. You can find a rock, right? You put that rock in this, what's it called, like a mountain with like a sun on it. You put that rock there, and then you go to the future. Then that rock is like a powerful item now because it has been sunlighted like for like a million years, right? That kind of stuff is really good in Chrono Trigger. It's not like fantastic, but it's just like it's the first time I think in video games where you had that like a puzzle, right? Okay, how do I use this thing in the future and this thing, right? Another game does it very well, which I think is a very good game. It's like the FF13-2, which is the sequel to FF13, so the second game where you play Sarah instead. And in that game, it's also that like it's very, very Chrono Trigger. You have all these timelines, you have different years, you can travel to every location, different. It's also in timelines, but also like in in seasons, right? So it's like in this year, if you're spending time in this place, it's snowing in this year. So if you have to find that flower, it only grows in the snow. Okay, you have to travel, not necessarily actually back in time or forward in time. It's more about traveling to the winter. But it is actually a time travel. You have to go like 50 years in the past, but it's more because that current, present, that year is snowing, right? For example, it was like a snowstorm or something. So that's like also get important. So that game is really interesting. I had to find its fragment and so on. But yeah, so it's a really cool game actually. F13-2. I played the whole game. I got every fragment. I got all the, I think it's whole 130 fragments. I got like a platinum trophy in that game. So I played everything. But it's a really cool game because another time game it reminds me of. I go into time stuff now, but last point, the time terminal. It reminds me of Majora's Mask. Which I love, Majora's Mask. I guess I love time stuff, yeah, but time stuff is interesting, especially for gaming. I think time stuff, I mean, obviously it works in anime too, it's anime here when they cry, but I think in gaming it was better, right? Yeah, because it's interesting having to manually manipulate the time traveling. But like in Majora's Mask, that is cool too, right? You have to like figure out when is this guy opening his shop, or this guy always get lost on Wednesdays and so on, right? And that's kind of how that other game, I would argue, works too, mostly. It's like kind of figuring out people's schedule. F13-2, kinda, yeah. Combining that with like seasons and so on. Really interesting. Another time game that's very similar to that actually, that no one ever played, is Ray Data History. That's very, very similar to Majora's Mask. I don't think I ever met anyone who played it, but it's a classic. I should say classic, but it's basically Ray Data Story and History, two games, and Ray Data Stories. It's basically like a Suikoden where you have like 100 playable characters in a JRPG, but instead to recruit them in Suikoden you have to like, to get this elf you have to be the fastest guy in the planet or whatever, right? You have to figure them out, the puzzle games or whatever. But in history and in stories, Redata is more like Majora's Mask. We have to like figure out these elves, how on Mondays he goes to buy a bow or something every time. So you have to kind of figure out, and then you can buy the bow for him, and then he joins you. So it's more like that. It's like using Majora's. It's basically very Majora's Mask, but instead of recruiting Mask, you're recruiting characters to join your army, right? So that's a very cool game in premise-wise, and I really loved it. I had never met anyone that played that game. It wasn't released in Europe. It's like only released in Japan and America and so on. Very, very rare game, but obviously I collect JRPG games. I have every JRPG game, so I played it. But I admit though, I never finished it. Honestly, well, I guess I never finished. I played it and I really loved the gameplay. I really loved the whole idea of the time traveling, right? Like I mentioned, Suikoden with Majora's Mask. So I love the game mechanics, but the actual main story or any character, the actual main character, to me was very weak and uninteresting. So I just kind of I played the game, right? I picked up all the characters from the time traveling aspect, right? I did the time traveling stuff, and then I wasn't so interested in actually playing the main story, right? I just wanted to recruit all the characters, so I actually never finished the game, because I didn't care about like the main character and the actual story. I just like cared about the time mechanics, and then I wasn't so into the other bits of it, so I never finished the game. It's one of the games I played it for like 40 hours, but I never finished it, right? It's got all the achievement basically. Then I didn't actually play the last boss. I was like, no, I don't care about that. I just want to get all the characters. Pokemon style, I just like recruit all the characters. And also the battle system was pretty weak. The actual core gameplay of fighting was pretty weak. But it was fun getting all the characters, yeah. Obviously I always love, dating games and so on. I always love those kind of, visual novels games and yeah. But it's been fun, time travel stuff. I don't think it's a similar anime next season. I don't think so. I don't think there are any... the only anime that I even know is like horror. For that matter is Platinum End, right? From the same author as Death Note and Barakuman. Yeah, but Death Note never horror. So that could be a good anime. It's some kind of survival game. I mean, actually I think it's a very good game probably. Because obviously it's the same person, the two couple, right? The two people that have done, again, Death Note for example. And they are having this new Battle Royale anime. And I like Battle Royale animes, Mira and Rika and so on. But written by these two really, really famous authors, or author and artist or whatever, how they collaborate. But yeah, these two collaborators. So that is probably the best kind of horror anime next season. Platinum Ends, I think it's in called in English. Take a quick check here before I turn off the video. Before I turn off the review here. I believe this is probably the best. Yeah, Platinum End or Platinum End, and it's what is it? 1 week from now. Oh, it's next Thursday. Yeah, 7th October. Basically, kind of the same time frame. Yeah, it's interesting. So definitely, that I think is probably one of the top animes next season, and especially for the horror genre, right? Horror kind of what do you call it? Horror or thriller or that kind of genre. Yeah, so I mean it's from the same, it's from Sugimi Oba and Tasuki Obata, right? Same people down, Death Note, Bakuman and so on. So yeah, that's probably my recommendation. And obviously I am gonna react to the review to Platinum End next Thursday. Then yeah, it should be out roughly the same with this anime, and it might be one of the best anime next season probably. I mean these are two very famous authors behind it, so that's probably good. And yeah, some kind of like death, suicide, killing, yeah, some kind of action-packed Death Note, I guess. But anyway, yes, Capital and so on. I'll see you tomorrow with Blue Period and Black Clover probably tomorrow. Yeah. So see you guys and have a great day.